Okay, team, and welcome to the Monday Night Coaching Show. Saints, this hour we'll have LSU preview after 7:30 tonight. So once again, if you want to come in video chat during the
New Orleans
coach
Saints
show,
scratch-offs.
you can do
You
that.
can win up to $100,000 from the Louisiana Lottery. The Saints Coaches Show, also brought to you by these local sponsors. The Hood Automotive Group, everything automotive under one hood. First American Bank, a banking tradition since 1910. Rouse's Markets, feels like home. Logo Express, for all your screen printing and embroidery needs. Go Auto, save money on car insurance with Go Auto. Your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Shell, the rhythm of Louisiana. Now, with a Saints Radio exclusive, Bobby Hebert and Mike Hoss.
And a pleasant good evening to everyone. Welcome to the Saints Coaches Show. Mike Hoss, Bobby Hebert is at the Silver Slipper in Hancock, Mississippi. And we will have Executive Vice President and General Manager Mickey Loomis on with us tonight. Yes, it is an open week, and so we're going to juggle the guests just a little bit. Sean is in flight as we speak, head coach Sean Payton. So we'll have Mickey Loomis, and then later in the show, we will have Saints offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael join us, who was with Drew Brees in San Diego starting in 2002, then came together in 2006 here in New Orleans. And Drew's gone, and now Pete, who's been calling the play since 2016, he'll join us at the top of the hour. So we'll look forward to that. So the Saints go to Landover, Maryland, needing a big win against an NFC team after losing to the Giants. And you couldn't have taken the game book, Bobby, and flipped it any differently.
Yeah.
To what things happened in the Giants, from time of possession to explosive plays, and just flipped it over. And wherever you put the Giants, put the Saints.
Well, Hoss, and I know the Saints look at this, whether bend but don't break. Obviously you want a dominating defense, but if you can continue to do this out of the 7 trips inside the Saints' 35-yard line, I think we call that the go zone. The red zone would be more the 20-yard line on end. You could even put it at this day and age, probably the 25-yard line. But if you in that plus territory, so that would be kind of the go zone. Out of the 7 trips inside the Saints' 35-yard line, the Washington football team got into the end zone just twice. 3 points, not 7 is the key, like Marshawn Lattimore said. If you get bend but don't break, and overall, force field goals instead of giving up touchdowns, to me, that's significant. Now, you look at the best scoring defenses around the National Football League. I think that always comes into play. You look at scoring offense, you look at scoring defense. But to me, when I look at where the Saints are at right now and coming into the game, we're giving up basically 17 points a game, which is 5th best in the National Football League, while Washington was giving up 30.5. We end up getting 33. Now, they end up getting 22 points, but to me, I like our chances a lot with Sean Payton at the helm as far as the coaching perspective with Jameis Winston, that we're going to have a plan that our defense, if we can hold opponents high teens, low 20s, we're winning. We're winning, and I think that's critical when you look at bend but don't break with that scoring defense.
And as you talked about those red zone drives, 2 of those red zones were goal to go. So Washington had a 12-play drive, 72 yards, got it to a goal to go, field goal. Had a 14-play drive, 69 yards, got it to the 5, field goal. So they're burning up clock, eating all those yards, and they come away really dejected with field goals. And to me, maybe because it's so kind of contrasting when you look at the Saints offensively in the red zone, as you talked about, 13 of 14, 93%, number one in the NFL.
Number one.
But we talk about that. I do, at least every week, because it's such an amazing stat. Defensively, they are 5 of 14, meaning they allow only 5 touchdowns in the same 14 trips, 36%. So those two stats alone speak volumes for this football team. You get in the red zone, you walk away with 7. The other team gets in the red zone, they leave mostly with 3, if that.
Well, Hoss, I can tell you this, and I said this to start the show this afternoon here at the Silver Slipper. And this is always the second guess, but ain't no second guess on this. That if the Saints continue on after the bye week going forward, is that if we continue to have number one, basically red zone offense, number one red zone defense, and you on the plus side of the turnover margin, you have to win. No, the percentage, you're going to win double digits. You're going to get to 10 wins plus just by controlling that. Like you might say, well, Jameis had a mistake. He threw an interception. He fumbled the ball. But then, so what if we get 3 back? Or at least we even. We were 0 for the game, but we're still plus 5 for the season. I think just that is critical. The way the game is structured, the parity, bend but don't break, however you describe it. But if you can capitalize and get touchdowns and prevent your opponent from getting touchdowns, it's just going to work out where you have a great chance to win. And that is winning football this day and age.
And capitalize was a critical word. I spoke a lot with Deuce last week about, as you watch Taylor Heineke in his performance, and he's led a couple of fourth quarter comebacks, but when he makes mistakes throughout the game, he's still a young quarterback. When he makes mistakes, he got away with them at Atlanta. He's gotten away with them a couple of times at Buffalo with San Diego. And so the Saints, it was crucial, at least in my opinion, was to make him pay for his mistakes, make him pay for his bad throws. And that's exactly what happened. Paulson Adebo, P.J. Williams, bad throws at bad times by a young quarterback, and they made him pay. And quite frankly, they could have had several more interceptions. They had 12 pass defenses yesterday, 6 by Marshawn Lattimore, and then passing y'all, Cam Jordan, Montravius Adams, Shai Tuttle. You can't really take away those knockdowns at the line of scrimmage because they get in that quarterback's head a lot more than people think. Well, that.
Yeah, and especially this day and age, they protect the quarterback. You can't hit him too high. You can't hit him too low. Now, the one thing I like about Jameis, yards per attempt, 9.3 yard average. I'd rather him be about because I think that's the right wheelhouse, 28 to 32 passing attempts. He was 15 of 30. I would like him to be like 20 or 22 of 30 instead of being 50%. But like you said, Heineke was 20 of 41. That's out of desperation, under 50%. I mean, this day and age, no. That's when you're talking about quarterbacks being high 60s, low 70s when you are efficient. Back in the day when I was playing 25, 30 years ago, it'd be like, can you be definitely over 50%, but can you be like high 50s, low 60s? I think the game has changed. You got to be like high 60s and low 70s, and then you truly amongst the best if that can occur. But you mentioned Lattimore. I mean, what more can you say? I think he accepted the challenge. He's going against his old roommate at Ohio State, McLaurin. I mean, he's a top 5 receiver as far as production. He had 11 targets, only 4 receptions for 46 yards. And you look at Marshawn Lattimore, broke up a career best 6 passes. Look, he was the first player since 2016, 17 season to record 6 passes defended in a single game. So I think Marshawn Lattimore had that swagger, and all the DB meeting room to get around that. That helps even like a Paulson Adebo. When he sees Lattimore setting the example, you get a veteran like Roby when he's going to get an opportunity. I'm real encouraged on the back end what we're going to do with Malcolm Jenkins, Marcus Williams, and all that. And I think we're going to do nothing but get better when you bring in David Onyemata. you bring in Davenport with the pass rush, because we all know the best pass coverage is a pass rush to make the quarterback uneasy where he's not confident. So I'm real encouraged on the back end after the bye and trying to truly, I don't know, Hoss, you can call it getting all hands on deck. But if you look at Michael Thomas, now Traquan I still think has the ability there. So you look at those receivers. I think Davenport could be our best pass rusher right now. I think our most dominant defensive lineman. You get David Onyemata. You get Will Lutz back. Then you get Teron Armstead back. And you get McCoy back at center. What? I mean, I think this bye has come at the right time. And I'm very optimistic. I would be so disappointed if we don't take care of business against Seattle. Now, it does matter when you play a team. I think I'm not feeling sorry for Seattle. So Russell Wilson, his middle finger's jacked up. Well, so what? You got to go with Geno.
You're right.
It's just
Geno
the way it
Smith.
is. Yeah.
All right. Bobby, let me take a break.
Okay, I'm encouraged.
I know, man. I like it. I like it when you're encouraged. Stay with us here on the Saints Coaches Show on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Okay, the Saints Coaches Show will return in just a few moments. Let's go ahead and do some Twitters for a few minutes. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll return to the Coaches Show. Okay, let's go through the Twitters tonight. See what's happening in the Twitterverse. Okay, let's see what we have. I'll put it up here. See what we have. Okay, okay, this is from Hoop Rumors. Nets made a couple of training camp moves, so it looks like they waived Bryce Brown and Josh Gray. So that's once again, the Nets are like I said, moving. It's definitely getting those roster moves going. So once again, this is from Hoop Rumors. Go to hooprumors.com or Twitter. See what else we have. Okay, tonight the Pelicans. Tonight from the booth, Pelicans will play Salt Lake City. No, Utah tonight. So they will play the Utah Jazz around 8 p.m. That game will be on Pelicans.com. For viewers in the metro area. Okay, once again, My Action Network HQ Bowl predictions have Iowa and Georgia, Bama and Oklahoma in the cotton, Kentucky and Oklahoma State in the rose, Oregon and Michigan in the fiesta, Ohio State and Cincinnati at the beach, Notre Dame and North Carolina State in the Sun Bowl, Utah and BC, Boston College in the Fenway Bowl, also SMU and North Carolina in the Independence, BYU and UTSA in the Birmingham and the Coastal, Coastal and LSU in the Las Vegas Bowl, and Wisconsin. So the Birmingham Bowl will have LSU and Coastal, and the Las Vegas Bowl, Wisconsin and Oregon State. So that is your bowl selections from Brett McMurphy. Follow him at Action Network. What else we have? Okay, Ian Rappaport talking about injuries with Shaquan Barkley and Daniel Jones and Kenny Goddard. Also, Steelers Juju Smith-Schuster and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So looks like that's the injuries for week number 4. So once again, this is from Ian Rappaport. Follow him at Rapsheet. That's rapsheet.com. We will go back over to the Saints Coaches Show.
And some other guests as well. So, Mickey, welcome to the show. I don't want to rehash too much of the first break that Bobby and I were talking about. I will give you just the point that we spoke about the most, and that was if you just looked at red zone offense and defense, it's a decent snapshot. Offensively, you're 13 of 14, 93%. You score touchdowns just about every time. And defensively, when the other team gets in there, they don't. They're 5 of 14, just 36%. So you can look at a ton of things from a very big win yesterday. That was just what we had talked about in the first break, the first block. Just wanted to get your thoughts.
Get you to do that, we're winning. I mean, you know that a sample size. If we number 1 red zone defense and red zone offense, we're winning. You can't help but win. Mickey? Oh, did we lose Mickey?
Mickey, you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey, I don't know. I was elaborating on what Hoss was asking you, but if we number 1 red zone offense and defense, oh boy, that's what you're chomping at the bit. I don't know how you cannot win if we continue to do that. You should win.
Well, yeah. Look, first of all, I apologize for being late to the call tonight. I knew I was supposed to be on, but I was thinking about Tuesday and not Monday. But anyway, yeah, this is one of those games where if when you open up the stat sheet, you look at time of possession, 36 minutes and 36 and a half minutes for Washington and 23 and a half, and you're thinking, oh, how much we lose by, and the other numbers that normally indicate, wins or losses are trumped by the fact that we were 2 for 2 in the red zone and they were 2 for 5, and we had a bunch of explosive plays in our game. We had Deontay Harris and Adam Troutman, Marquez Callaway,
Hail Mary,
and accompanied by Alvin Kamara, explosive plays that led to touchdowns and points. And so it was just one of those games where kind of went against a few numbers, but what you said right is exactly right, Bobby. And I've done this study over the years about red zone efficiency, both offensively and defensively. And if you're good on offense and good on defense, and that spread is significant, well, that's an indicator of a good football team, and that certainly came into play this weekend at Washington.
Now, Mickey, when I look at like Jameis and where he's at right now, you look at highest touchdown per pass attempt percentage this season. Jameis is number 1 at 10.3%. Ahead of Pat Mahomes, who's at 8.2, Russell Wilson at 8, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow. So he's number 1. And, I mean, that's not an opinion. That's what's happened. And you look at it, he connected on some big-time throws, averaging 18 and a half yards per completion. So where do you look and where do you think Jameis is at right now? Because, come on, they have the Loomis money truck. You see that company, but Jameis will be dealing with you in the future. But where do you think he's at right now as far as being the guy? Because it seems like he wants to be the guy. You see ebbs and flow where he is up and down. Now, I know he'd want to be much better than 50%. But you have to be encouraged so far what he's trying to do to be the guy post Drew Brees.
Yeah, I think this, Bobby, number 1, look, we're going to measure success of the Saints in terms of wins and losses. So I think we begin with that. But look, it's way too early to say, to make any kind of evaluations about a particular player or not. I would say I think he's a work in progress. We've seen some really good things, and we've seen some things that we wish, could be done better. And I think the good thing here, the good news is that on those types of things, Jameis is working on improving and correcting mistakes. And look, it's 5 games into his career as a starter here, so we shouldn't be too quick to judge or too quick to be critical. Let's let this thing play out. Let's let him develop, and write his story with the New Orleans Saints as we go along.
Mickey, talk about the Hail Mary a little bit. 8 seconds to play in the half. Saints line up on the short side of the field, trips right, and one receiver left, which was Callaway. I think William Jackson III talked about that they thought that you guys might just do a quick 10-yard down and out, kick a long field goal. Talk about the play kind of in general. Do you think the alignment or the situation kind of caught them a little off guard as far as that not thinking Hail Mary?
Yeah, I don't think it caught them off guard because they were playing the safety on the other side pretty deep, and I think they were a little bit concerned about a quick out. That's we've done that a lot in our history as a team, and then kick the long field goal. But and maybe that allowed Callaway access to the spot that he was at. I just think it's one of those big freak plays that they kind of overran, and I thought Jameis threw a great ball by getting it high in the air and letting it kind of come down almost like a punt. And Callaway's a big body guy that just kind of fell right to him. And I think more importantly, to be honest with you, was the punt by Blake Gillikin in the series prior that pinned them down and gave us a chance to get the ball back, in that midfield area where we could try a Hail Mary. And that was obviously a significant play in the game. It gave us the lead, gave us a lot of momentum, and boy, that was a great play for us.
Yeah, I want to talk. We're going to take a quick break here on the Saints Coaches Show with Saints Executive Vice President, General Manager Mickey Loomis, and I do want to talk more about Blake Gillikin, also the week off ahead of Seattle. We're back after a break here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Okay, once again, the Coaches Show will return in just a few moments. We'll have LSU preview at 8 o'clock. All right, let's go over to the Twitters. We're going to go through more Twitters. Let me put this in. Put the Twitters in. Okay, trade rumors. Trey Turner, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto amongst arbitrated players are likely to be the bigger 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 salaries this winter. So it looks like those three players will have some salaries. They're going to have the bigger salary. So once again, this is from MLB Trade Rumor. Go to MLB Trade Rumor. Okay, Adam Schefter once again. Coach Joe Judge on Saquon Barkley injured in the term of the X-ray came back. Better news for them. It couldn't have been for us. I mean, it's a sigh of relief, so that's what they're saying. So once again, this is from Adam Schefter. Follow him at Adam Schefter. Also, the Atlantic notes that's Gillespie, Birch, Aquila, Simmons, and Millsaps. So that's what they're discussing in those notes. So let's see what else we have. We'll click this out. Okay. The president of Come Bowl wants the suspension of the World Cup qualifier between Argentina and Brazil to play out. FIFA not decided yet on what they want to do. So let's see what we got here. Okay, this is from Sportsnet. Astros suspect comments from reliever Ryan Tepera after he implemented a stolen sign while winning the first 2 games of the ALDS in their ballpark. So that's once again is continued to plague the Astros, that stealing signs controversy. So once again, this is from let me click this. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay, Russell Westbrook with 16 turnovers, 4 of 19 shooting in the first 2 games as a Laker. So that's kind of what's going on with Russell Westbrook. This is from Basketball Forever. Follow them at Basketball Forever. Okay, 17 pitches. Eduardo Rodriguez and Austin Meadows, longest pitches. The PA, at least 1988. So this is from MLB Stats. Let's head back over to the Saints Coaches Show.
The Special Teams Player of the Week, and then they should do away with the award. So talk about that a little bit, but I have to ask you, and I know it's a tough one, can Will Lutz be ready for Seattle?
Well, I'm not going to answer that question. We'll see. But I will say this. Look, Blake Gillikin had 5 punts, a 51.6 yard average, 3 punts inside the 5-yard line, and look, was a significant reason why we were able to win that game. And a friend of mine who's been a part of the league for a long time said, man, he referenced Ray Guy, and so when you get spoken about in a performance with Ray Guy, then you caught some people's attention, and so I'm real proud of him. And look, he punted the ball from the end zone, and it wasn't a great punt. I thought he kind of mishit it, and yet, look, he got about a 46, 47-yard net out of that punt. So
Yep.
It was a day for him, and spectacular again. A significant reason why we won the game, and I'm excited for him going forward.
Now, Mickey, think about this. The fans sometimes don't realize how challenging it is for Sean Payton as a play caller, because you have certain plays and you have to deal with injuries. That's part of the National Football League. But you look at Deontay Harris, he hauled in that career-long 72-yard touchdown early in the game. Then he misses most of 3 quarters dealing with that hamstring injury. Then Taysom Hill gets knocked out. Helmet in the second quarter, concussion. Boy, people don't realize how challenging that you have certain plays, certain situation that Sean Payton and Jameis Winston would ever have to adjust, because you don't have weapons like Deontay Harris and Taysom Hill in the game.
Well, look, I'm glad you brought this up, Bobby, because I agree with you. I think, when you lose Deontay, especially that early in the game, and look, let's just face it, he's our speed receiver, and when you lose Taysom Hill, in that part of the game, that's a significant part of our total offensive package going into a game like this. And so I thought our coaching staff, our offensive coaching staff, and Sean as a play caller, I thought they were spectacular in adjusting what we were doing and finding a way for us to be productive offensively, get points on the board when 2 of your significant weapons are just all of a sudden out of the game.
Speaks
that's
volumes.
really the brilliance of Sean and our offensive staff, Pete Carmichael, and the rest of our offensive staff, who do such a great job each week. But what is unsung is when something happens in a game and it significantly impacts you, how quickly we can adjust and still be productive.
Mickey, what will be the breakdown? It's some off time, I'm sure, not for the players first, but there's still work to do from a player personnel and from your standpoint. How will it break down over the next really week as far as time off and then time in the office and still looking at players?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, man, listen, typically I don't like having a bye week early in the season like this, but
Where he's at. I'll look with the acquisition of like Roby. Is Carolina kind of taking the approach maybe like we can't have enough cover guys? You look at J.C. Horn where they drafted. You look at the young kid from Metairie, played for LSU Jackson. Then they get C.J. Henderson and Gilmore. You think that a lot of teams, that's kind of their goal? Is like, I know the best pass coverage is the pass rush, but you need more than just like, two cover corners. Like we had Jack Rabbit and then we had Lattimore. But it seems like, boy, they'll attack a weak link opposing offenses that you got to have 3 or 4 of those guys, even though you might be dealing with injuries also.
yeah, well, part of that is, look, you have to, you build your team and you build your strengths based on what's available. And so sometimes you may have a weakness at a particular position, but there's just, no one available. And so when a good player becomes available, even if you feel like you've got strength and you've got numbers of position, you still are looking to build onto a strength. Listen, we spent the whole off season, you guys included, talking about how we had just one corner and no one else. Right. And there was a little bit of a panic about that. And yet now we get to this point in the season, I think it's a strength of ours. I think, Marshawn obviously is a great player and had a spectacular day yesterday. 6 passes defense. I mean, that's unheard of. Right. 6 passes defense.
12 overall for the team.
Yeah, and look, 6 by one player.
Right.
Listen, one of our pro guys told me today that we're going to be playing a team down the road that has 5 total for their entire defensive backfield for the season, and Marshawn had 6 in one game. So look, we love where Paulson Adebo has landed. He's been a really good player for us, and we were able to acquire Bradley Roby, and PJ Williams has 2 interceptions, and so look, I think all of a sudden you look at that defensive backfield and you see a strength. Whereas in this last offseason, there was a little bit of panic about that. So the answer to your question, it's not really a question, it's just a comment, is that, look, as teams go forward, they're looking to build on their strengths, but it's really based upon what's available.
Mickey, we appreciate your time. I know it's going to be a nice break for you and this football team, and then really an extra day as you travel out west back to your area of the country, the Northwest, Seattle, on Monday night, October 25th against Seattle. Enjoy your time off, and thanks for joining us tonight.
I will, guys. It's a little bit ironic that we're going to play Seattle. Well, I think the last time we played in Seattle, Drew Brees was out because of a hand issue, and now it looks like Russell Wilson's going to be out because of a hand issue on the other side. So,
and you know what, Mickey? And you know who caused that hand issue? Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. I know.
Yeah,
isn't it
same
ironic?
guy.
Same guy.
Yeah, listen, but here's the thing: is that is a tough place to play, and Pete Carroll and their staff will have their team ready to roll. It'll be everything we can handle. We'll have to put our best foot forward in order to come out with a win, and I'm glad we have a week break and we get to rest up and get ready for a long road trip and a tough game.
All right, thank you, Mickey. We'll see you very soon. Enjoy the time off.
Thanks,
Bobby,
Mickey.
stick around.
Thanks, Bobby. Take care.
Yep. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
The News Talk Sports Leader, WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
And when we come back, we are going to have Saints offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael. Bobby will stay with us from the casino in Mississippi. We'll talk to Pete Carmichael after the break here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Okay, once again, the Saints Coaches Show will return in just a few minutes. I will go through some more Twitters, see what's happening in the Twitter world. Okay, let's see. Zion looks like we talked.
12 shots right there that day. So they didn't have a problem with those. And over the course of the time that they've been in the military, if they went to Iraq, they got
Okay, CFL headlines. Boris B honored injured long snapper Jake Reinhardt, number 8 on toe. Toronto organized place kicker. Honored injured. So that was in the game the other night. Won the game-winning field goal. So once again, that's from CFL Headlines. Follow CFL Headlines on Twitter.
Nobody has died from Moderna. Nobody has died from Pfizer.
So let's see what else we have
So
here.
people got to wake up. People really have to wake up.
Okay, this is from David Grubbs. If Zion has said, I'll see you in December, how would he would have been judged? People said he dodged it. That's what they're saying in this article. Once again, this is from David Grubbs. Follow him at David Grubbs.
And of course,
see what else we have.
Donald Trump and Ted Cruz's dumbasses when they keep talking about people are coming across the border bringing COVID. That's an easy fix. Easy fix. We've got people in the United States of America.
Okay, JUCO football. Grant Anthony offered a scholarship to Texas State. So congratulations to that young man. He's from Northeast Mississippi Community College.
You know, it's one thing in the beginning.
Okay, this is from Josh Dubose. Brandon Akira was the 6th wide receiver. The 2020 traded up, so that was so once again, this is from Josh Dubose. Follow him. Josh Dubose. So let's see what else we have. We head back over to
when there's been no real, blah 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 testing. Folks, all that stuff is been completed. It's done.
Okay, Demario Smith writes that John Gruden's the John Gruden email to show them it was a fight against racism is not over. So that's what they're talking about with Demario Smith and John Gruden. So once again, this is from Pro Football Talker to ProFootballTalker.com.
Wake up to the news you need and talk you love. Tommy Tucker, 6 to 10 on WWL. Saints Radio, the Saints Coaches Show on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Back to Team WWL.
Welcome back to the Saints Coaches Show. Mike Hoss, along with Bobby Hebert at the Silver Slipper Casino in Hancock, Mississippi. And we're talking about the Saints' big 33-22 victory over the Washington football team. A week off, well-needed, well-deserved week off where they can rest up and then play in Seattle on October 25th. And in the meantime, Seattle will have to travel on Sunday and play in Pittsburgh. So lots of football still to come. Pete Carmichael, the Saints offensive coordinator, who came as the quarterback's coach in 2006, was with Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson in San Diego as early as 2002, offensive coordinator in 2009, calling plays in 2016 If I was reading an article, Pete, you just said that you just love it, and that's about calling plays. And for whatever reason, it's something you just love doing. That was a heck of a game yesterday. Well done.
Well, thank you. It was a great team effort. We had some some challenges come up, but our players handled it well, and I thought they played well.
Is that one of the things that maybe we don't often talk about? Because maybe it doesn't happen often, but the offense had 2 turnovers in the first 10 plays, but you could just feel there was not like a panic. This is a veteran team with a veteran coaching staff. Nobody panicked. It was like, okay. And certainly the defense kept you in it, holding them to field goals, which was significant. But there doesn't seem to ever be any panic in this football team when things go bad early.
Yeah, obviously it's not something that you don't want it to happen at all during the game, but it's part of the game. And like you said, those first 2 in the first couple series there, it's not how you want to start. But again, you're right. Our defense has been playing well. And really, they bailed us out there a couple times. But again, there was no panic, and we knew that it was just going to be a matter of time before we could get some drives together.
Now, Coach Carmichael asked Mickey this, and I'm going to ask you. I would ask the same thing to Sean. But you put a game plan together, but you have to be on the fly. You got to be able to adjust. When all of a sudden you got significant injuries to like a Deontay Harris. We all know he caught that bomb early in the game. Then he missed most of the last 3 quarters, the hamstring injury. Then Taysom Hill gets knocked out in the second quarter. All of a sudden, do you just scratch out a bunch of plays, or what do you do when you look at down and distance and all that when you trying to set up like the play calls? Because you always got to think in advance as far as down and distance, and all of a sudden you don't have 2 major weapons in Deontay Harris and Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I think that those 2 guys are such a big part of the plan that if we had gone through and started to scratch off plays that didn't fit without those 2 guys, we would have been really limited. So, Sean does a great job during the week bringing up scenarios to the offensive staff and saying, hey, if this happens, we got to be ready to do this. And he goes through all those scenarios. And I thought CJ and DJ with the receivers did a great job on the sidelines, getting the receivers ready for that, and then Dan Rochar and Declan Doyle with the tight ends just when Taysom went down. And really, it kind of limited, maybe the personnel groupings that we had as far as the specific tags that we have, and it became more Sean was like, hey, this is the plan, this is what I'm going to do, and getting those guys, ready on the sidelines. But you know what, they already have a general feel that, if this guy goes down, I'm the backup. And it's just a matter of sometimes if you're moving one guy in a personnel grouping, it might mean you have to have 2 adjustments. But I thought overall our guys really handled it well.
Now, Pete, when you look at, you never know, you don't want this to happen. But like the plan, and I know y'all have a plan. Okay, look at Taysom Hill. He's being the Swiss Army knife jack of all trades. So what if Jameis would go down in a game? Would you then put in Trevor Siemian because he's primarily doing the quarterback position? And then depending how long Jameis would be out, then maybe it might be different the week after utilizing Taysom Hill. But, I mean, wouldn't that be asking too much if Jameis went down in one game and that same game that all of a sudden Taysom would just go straight to quarterback?
I think we always have a plan. And listen, Taysom's involved in the quarterback position on a significant amount of plays, and however many of those technically get called in a game could vary. But I think that as you go into specific games, and Taysom has such a versatile role in all these other positions, I would think that the starting point would be if something happened to Jameis, that Trevor would go in, and then we would reevaluate the following week.
Pete, there was no really. If you looked at the first 4 games and explosive plays, there were 3. And they were passing plays. He had no plays of plus 20 yards in those first 4 games. And then yesterday, he had 5 plays of plus 20 and really almost 6, as Alvin's last touchdown was 19 yards. So that would have been literally doubling your explosive play output in game 5 as compared to the 4 previous games. I know there's no reason for that, but certainly talk about the importance and the significance of it.
It's important. And there could be a variety of reasons of why maybe early in the season those weren't happening, whether it's even maybe just the defense that you're seeing and they're making you force some underneath throws. But again, it's got to be an important part of what we do. It's been something that we've been able to do around here over the past few years. And I would say that, Jameis, it's something that he does very well, throwing the ball downfield. So we got to continue to expand on that and when those opportunities arise, take advantage of it.
Now, Pete, when Jameis comes off the field, do you, whether it's a change of possession, probably a timeout, he's talking to Sean, but if it's a change of possession, do you directly communicate with him, or is that a combination, maybe you and Sean, depending on the situation? Just talk about that process, because I know as a quarterback playing the position that you want the input, you want the help. If am I missing something, or am I reading things right and all? Just talk about your impact, and like, let's say Jameis, he had a series and he's coming to the sidelines, how you communicate with him.
I think typically as he's coming off to the sidelines, usually that's the opportunity where Sean will grab him initially as he comes off, because Sean doesn't necessarily have the time to go sit on the bench with him, since Sean's paying attention to the game and the situations that might arise with the other side of the ball or with special teams. So typically Sean will just grab him as he's coming off the sidelines and tell him anything that he needs to specifically know. But then when he comes and sits on the bench, it's an opportunity for myself, Ronald Perry, and really the other quarterbacks will sit there too. And it'll be some discussion as to maybe what's going on with the defense or a specific play. And looking at the pictures, that's one of the advantages of the NFL is having pictures to look at and see what they're doing. So there's communication going on and also coming from the press box from Jim Chaney as well. And so that communication happens. And, I think that it's important and it's nice to have the other quarterbacks be involved with that as well.
You had the unfortunate situation of it yesterday, so I'm just kind of looking at the difficulty of what you had to do, and then also what Washington had to do. And that's when you get the ball at the 2-yard line, and how much does the playbook shrink? What are the goals? And certainly you were ahead, but Washington had to do it 3 times after the Gillikin punts, Blake Gillikin punts, which were unbelievable. How difficult is it to work your way out of that hole 3 times when you're down in that situation?
Yeah, I think first of all, you have a limited section for your what we call coming out there, and it does limit as far as the play calls, and Sean always has a plan for that. The bad part for us yesterday is the play that one of our favorite plays coming out yesterday. We snapped, we got it off, completion, and yet they had called timeout. And, it was a series that ended up not being very good for us. But I know that the goal was we always talk about getting 2 first downs just to try to change the field position.
Now, Coach Carmichael, looking at, it seems like in the Saints offense, you always spread the wealth, whether it's as many as 11 receivers, it might be 8 or 9 receivers. So we know pass receiving running backs in the wide receiver position. But how encouraged you are going forward to get Adam Troutman more involved? I know Taysom does a lot of those plays, but for him to have a couple of catches for 43 yards, and obviously also Juwan Johnson in the red zone. Because I know you and Sean Payton, and all through the years, I know y'all know how to utilize the tight end. So fans actually, man, why we don't throw the tight end? I said, well, I don't know. It's Jameis Winston. It's not Drew Brees, but to me, the tight end's important in a Sean Payton, Pete Carmichael offense. So just explain to the fans maybe utilizing them more.
I think to start out, I think Adam Troutman had one of his best games yesterday. And I think as you look over the years in the past with Drew here, am I still there? Sorry, guys. I think I lost you for a sec.
Yeah. Go ahead. We're listening.
Okay. So just as you look at the years past, anytime we've been explosive offensively or moved the ball well, we've always had, that spot, whether it's some run action, play action type stuff that we're able to get the ball. And again, we go into the game plan always trying to utilize multiple personnel at the tight end spot and finding ways to get the ball in their hands. And I think that's an asset for the quarterback when you're running it well and being able to throw to those tight ends as well. So when they're on the field and does the defense know whether it's going to be a run or a pass? So getting the ball to the tight end is an important part of this offense for sure.
Well, Pete, and running it well on first down as well. You've been running it. This offense has the last 3 games. Well, New England, the Giants, and then yesterday running it right about 5 yards a clip every time you run it on first down. So takes a lot of pressure off the offense. Huge win yesterday. Congratulations and some well-deserved time off. We appreciate you joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael, although I said Pete Carroll earlier. I guess that's the worst thing to be called in the world. Bobby will step aside. Bobby, enjoyed it, my friend, as always. We will talk soon, and we will talk with Mike Detillier next as we kind of look back at the NFC South and some of the bigger games on the docket. Baltimore, Monday Night Football tonight. Sit with us here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Okay, once again, the Saints coach's show will return in just a few moments. So let's go ahead. Okay, let's see what we got. Hold on. I got to check.
The PPP loans were payroll protection loans.
Okay,
so that people could pay their workers while COVID was
the Spurs waive Luca Samuel. Looks like he is not going to be playing for them no more. So he's the 50-man roster will be set for the San Antonio Spurs. Also, the Pelicans are playing Utah tonight. That will be live streamed on Pelicans.com. And for the people in the city of New Orleans area. Okay, once again, it's possible rated stats. They have stopped opponents 5 out of the 8. 62% on 3rd and 4th down. On one try, Cardinals was 7 out of 10 or better. So this is from Josh Dubose. Follow him at the Associated Press.
I'm so sick and tired of watching people who always win. But they win because the deck is stacked.
Okay, Rafael Devine launches to put the Red Sox up first. That was a home run.
These are people that got all the damn money in the world, and they don't want to help nobody. Nobody. When I come back here from the military, I wanted to help people so that their kids could go to school. And not
600 wins for Coach Curtis. Congratulations to Coach Curtis. He did that the other night. Russell Wilson engaged while rehabbing, helping Geno Smith prepare. So that's what he's doing. Recovering from his finger injury. See what else we have.
I'm tired of watching these people who actually have the ability to do good things. They have the capability to do good things. They're multimillionaires. They've got more money. So
Prep Hoops Louisiana position review 2024 guards. That's what they're that's from Prep Hoops. From PrepHoops.com. So let's get back to the Saints coaches show. A few minutes left.
He injured his thumb, but still threw 5 touchdowns. The interesting thing will be what happens now because they have Philadelphia on a short week. They play Thursday night on the road. Have you heard anything more about what his situation will be?
Haven't heard it, but I'd be surprised if he didn't play.
Well, me too. I mean, he said he injured it early in the game and still threw for 411, 5 TDs. So,
that didn't bother him too much.
Not too much.
I think he's going to be ready. Primetime games, man, he's used to it. And one thing with him, man, man upstairs gave him a body to react quickly.
Carolina.
Now, again, as you get older, it doesn't quite work the same. Man, he's special in that category.
Carolina's played 3 of their first 5 at home. That they lost at home yesterday to Philly, so they dropped to 3-2, like the Saints, who won. Atlanta won in London, so they're 2-3. And so I'm already, and maybe you are, I'm thinking about Thanksgiving after last night. And Thanksgiving is the Buffalo Bills coming to town, who handed Kansas City a pretty good thumping, 38-20 last night. Josh Allen was a little bit of everything, throwing and running the ball. Patrick Mahomes threw it twice as many times as did Allen, 54 times in the air. I wasn't sure initially, but certainly Buffalo, that's going to be a huge game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think, Mike, right now, and I talked to Drew Brees when we had him on, and, he made the comment, too. They're the best team in the NFL right now, top to bottom. The way they play defense, they pitched a couple of shutouts, the way they can put points on the board. Early on, I worried how well they could run the ball. I didn't know if they had that guy that, man, when you need it, you got to run it. They've done it by committee with Moss and Singletary. So far, it's worked. But, man, Josh Allen has just been spectacular. And I was telling Bob this, Manning Camp a few years back, he comes in, and little tropical storm had passed. He's throwing against the wind. He's at the goal line. He throws one into the wind against it, 80 yards downfield.
Wow. It's going to be an interesting one. All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your time as always. Mike Detillier from the Silver Slipper in Hancock, Mississippi. October 25th, that's going to be the next time the Saints play. The Saints at Seattle. They are off this week. I want to thank for what? We're back again next week. I want to thank everybody. Scott Alexander in engineering here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Okay, once again, that concludes tonight's coaches show. We'll begin the LSU preview show. Okay, once again, welcome back to the LSU preview show. We are going to be previewing the Florida Gators, which LSU will be playing this coming Saturday morning, 11 a.m. We will have game coverage here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So tonight we'll have press conferences from Ed Orgeron and Dan Mullen. So we'll have those press conferences, and then we'll have a preview on it. So let's go ahead and go over to press conferences.
Then Christianity moved to Greece and became a philosophy. Then it moved to Rome and became an institution.
I see. Oh, yeah.
And it spread throughout Europe and became a culture. And then it moved to America and become a business. Business. I'm telling you, folks, our country's...
Okay, let's go over to Ed Orgeron first.
These pastors...
All right, guys, good to see everybody. Tell us who's Monday. Here we go. Offense, improved rushing attack. We're really pleased with the running of Ty Davis. Improved offensive line blocking. We put some new stuff. We put in some new formations. JP's kept at it, stayed with the run game like we said we were going to. And we made some improvement there. Definitely on offense, we still need some work on third down and pass protection. On defense, it was all about gap fits, about staying out gap, playing with proper technique, putting ourselves in better position to adjust to some of the formations that we see. We'll work on that today. Florida, Emory Jones is an outstanding quarterback. They're third in the country in rushing offense. I've known Dan for a long time. He's one of the best play callers I've been around. They got some talent. They got a good offensive line, good stable running backs. A lot of speed at wide receiver on defense. We all know about their defense. Attacking defense, 16 points per game, led by Zachary Carter with 6 sacks. Any questions?
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. I was just curious, in your meetings yesterday with the coaching staff, you kind of given the limitations of what your roster is and not being able to improve it at this point in time. What can you fix? What have you guys identified that this is something we can clearly focus on and improve on?
Yeah, on defense, first of all, making sure that we adjust to the proper formation and with a great alignment. Eyes on the right keys. Number two is when they're in that proper alignment and key, that they play the gap that it's supposed to. We'll get cut out of the gap, and we knew they had a good run game going into the game. There was no question about that. We respected their offensive line, a good zone blocking team. We just got cut out of our gaps for the most part. Now we ran some blitzes, we had some misassignments, we weren't in our gaps. So those are all things that are fixable, plus tackling.
And that's what you see, and that's what you hear.
Good afternoon. What's the status of Keyshawn Butte and Ali Gay?
Yeah, they're not going to be available for this week for sure.
Dumbasses.
Hey, Coach Joe Garland, Gillon, Fox State, New Orleans. I noticed that AD Scott Woolward's on the road with you on the home
Yeah.
game field. Is he giving you any words of encouragement, advice, and in these tough times there for the Tigers?
He's been great. Comes every Sunday. He's here at every practice. Been very positive. Been very encouraging every time I met him.
Coach, I mean, obviously now without Keyshawn being such a huge part of y'all's offense, just who are you looking to kind of step up in that number one role, and kind of who do you think is going to stand out there among those?
Yeah, it's not about number one role. It's about somebody coming up and making some plays. I think you saw Malik Neighbors doing a lot of good things there. I'm looking for him to step up. Devontae Lee to step up in a bigger role. John Trey Kirkland to step up in a bigger role. Ray Jenkins. I think all those guys just have to step up. Not just one guy. Everybody has to step up.
There's nothing about them.
Hey, Coach, this is Bree Andrews from LSU Tiger TV. We've seen a lot of great success from former running backs coming out of LSU, and I think a big bright side of the game last week was Ty Davis Price rush for 147 yards. So do you think not only Ty Davis Price, but Corey Piper, Marty Goodwin, Josh Williams, do you think that they have the ability to be a successful college quarterback and also be successful in the NFL?
No question. That's why I recruited them. I think they're all great players. They're all great young men. Glad that we put them in position to have success. We block better. I thought Ty ran with an outstanding attitude. Corey and Monty are good freshmen, real good freshmen. And Trey Bradford, who's going to become eligible soon. I think all those guys are going to be great players.
The first 3 weeks of the season, you know, we're defense actually sacks and tackles for loss. The last couple of weeks, the numbers dropped off a lot. So you can kind of attribute that to and how
Did you see the video?
I think so. Depends what kind of protection we get. Depends what how we rushing our guys. Sometimes we got our scrambling quarterbacks, so we're not score full tilt. We got to stay in our pass rush lane. The things, a combination.
It's no big deal. No big deal because your tax dollars are going to pay for that kid.
What's the status of John Howard serving to be up defensively right now? Where's more against this rushing attack?
Yeah, well, Joel's going to be unavailable this week. Victor Burner is unavailable this week. We get Glenn Logan back. I think that Glenn is going to be able to play this week. Glenn played a lot of games for us. So that's going to give us a boost inside.
Yeah, it's sorry that happened with the injury, questions, things like that. But you might have raised, so you can be available this week.
As far as I know.
And yeah, just kind of, you know, with this on, like, coming up, and then to ask a question. This injury, they're coming off the stretch, just how hard is that to kind of get the team going?
I don't think it's a problem. We'll focus in today until through Monday. Look at it. We've got Florida coming up now. We'll be fired up to play Florida. The guys will be fired up. We have a good week of practice.
Hey, Coach, obviously there's a lot of talk around the program about the lack of success that you had this season. How will you approach it with your players? I know block out the noise is something that you did before, but we specifically address the remaining 6 games in your job status with them.
No, not at all. That's what made it happen. And nobody's told me about my job status. So I haven't had any discussion about it. As far as I know, I'm the head coach of the LSU Tigers. That's all that matters.
Is that the best and only way you can approach it?
No, not really, man. Like, you can go in there and I can read everything you guys can write. I can take about an hour and read all that stuff and go tell them about it. I don't listen to all that stuff. You know, the best thing for me to do is be very positive. Understand the expectation of LSU. I will say this and I will say it again. No one has to tell me about the LSU
You got
expectation.
your cord,
I know
Terry?
I'm
There's
on
another
board
cord
with
right here.
it. So
Yeah, I
I
got it
understand,
right there.
this is not the LSU standard.
You want to use
performance.
that old
I
one?
understand
Yeah.
the job.
Why you don't drop this thing like
Forward
it?
to get to where I'm at.
Well, I guess a little cleaner right there.
As
We'll
hard
put
as
it
I can
into a
today.
box
Don't blink. I promise you,
with this extra.
I will not
Why?
for anyone.
Hey, Coach, Paul Warren from CST. I was wondering if this week leading up to the Florida game kind of feels like last year, where this is the game that can kind of change the feeling of everything within the program.
Yes, it could, and it could, playing Florida, we just lost two big games in a row. And playing Florida, obviously, is a rivalry game for LSU. We're playing at home. They're a very good football team, and it's going to be a tremendous challenge. But yes, I think they can put at least a little feel good back in the program.
And obviously this is Max's first full year as a starter. 6 games in, just how would you evaluate what he's done? What has he done well? What has he need to improve?
Well, I think Max is an outstanding quarterback, outstanding young man. There's some things he's done very well. There's some things that he can improve on, getting involved quicker. Maybe identifying some, early on, identifying some protections, getting the right protection at the right time. But overall, I think he's done a very good job.
No one wants to hire me.
Your last year on this, compare you for things don't go well with this, handle it better than it was handled there. How did that experience compare you when time was tough like this?
Yeah, you learn what not to do. I think that's the biggest thing is don't react. Go to work every day, big chest and big eyes, be positive. And I think the players got to feel that. And they feel that about me. They know it. And everybody knows what's going on. We don't need to talk about it. The focus is on beating Florida, and that's what we're going to do.
Marijuana, when the police are looking for the owner, and the sheriff Joe said that if the owner, if they find the owner, he gets an all expensive.
So I think that when you get into the beginning, like today, it's the first time we see them. The coaches came in yesterday. Everybody was down a little bit, obviously. But it's a 24-hour rule. As well as we can, we're going to put it behind us and look towards Florida. I think it helps that we play in Florida, a rivalry game. Guys going to get up to play in Florida, especially at home. And so I think after today, it should be okay.
We can pay our teachers a hell of a lot better money.
Coach Steve Moulton, WZZN. Is there any update?
We don't want to do that. The reason we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I just talked to him. He was in my office before I came down there. Nothing new.
That they get to send to auction, they get the money for.
He's progressing as expected. I don't know if he's going to be available before the Alabama game, that open week or not. That's the target date we had looked at. I don't know the status of it.
A lot of different things they would much rather not.
So one other question, a little off topic here. I'm asking
You
all
know
the
that
coaches
in
within
1861,
the
10
program
senators were
about their
expelled
thoughts
from
on the transfer portal.
insurrection and for being
Positives and the negatives.
and
Yeah.
a conspiracy against the peace.
Well, I
and
think
union
that,
of the United States government for their support of the Confederacy.
Graduate transfers have been excellent to us. We've done a good job of getting graduate transfers. The transfer portal can hurt you. We've seen the one players to leave. But sometimes you got to look at all the things that entail why a player left. And sometimes they're out of our control.
Kick them out. Send them
We can't do anything about it.
them to go. Piss on them.
But you briefly touched on Emory Jones. I was just curious, what kind of progress you've seen him make, this season as it's kind of gone along. And what are you expecting from their offense?
Yeah, well, one thing that Dan does, exactly where to go against defense. I think he's an outstanding play caller. Emory's passing is very, very much improved this year. They want to run the football with him, but also the deep throws, also the wheel routes, the short passing game. I think his accuracy has improved and his confidence in running the offense.
The chairman, why are you not running my bill?
Last year, you talked about having to recruit your roster at the end of the year, and now we're hearing concerns about having to recruit your roster during the year. Other teams trying to coach players and this and that while you're still in the middle of the year. Is that something that's come up without naming schools?
Not that I know of. I don't know what he's talking about, but sometimes I'm the last one to know.
while Joe Manchin speaks to people off the back.
How are you handling all this, Coach? I mean, I know, you talked about your job status a little bit and whatnot, but
Hey,
how is those?
Doc, excuse me. Are you trying to get another? You sure?
I'm trying to do my job.
Good, good. Well, I'm gonna do mine. I'm handling it great. I said that before.
But they probably won't because, as long as the Republican does shit right now with the Republicans of power, I mean, pretty much anybody can get away with anything.
Hi, Coach. Leah Van, the advocate. I was just wondering, we've had a lot of injuries this season. I'm wondering if you are curious as to what has contributed to the injury prevalence on this team, and does that impact the way you approach practice?
First of all, not a lot of injuries have occurred in practice. Some of them have. Most of them have been in game time situations. So we got to look at it. I think that our training staff does a tremendous job of evaluating on guys. We've gotten guys back here a lot faster than we have in the previous year. So I think that the acceleration of the treatment and guys getting better has worked. You don't want injuries, but you don't want to sport of football.
But if we talk about giving money to people that are
This
struggling.
is Josh Sibley, Louisiana Football. It seems with the simplification of the playbook, kind of maybe handcuff the second and third receiver, kind of pinpointed maybe zoomed in on just one receiver, initial receiver, and tried to just get the ball to one receiver, push it downfield.
Stop freaking
Have you noticed that this year at all, or
because those Republicans want to take away your welfare.
Well,
By the way, that welfare.
what you're seeing, Josh, is him identifying coverages. And us calling a blanket route. And according to coverages, whether it's one high or two high, the route combinations that are best against one high or two high, that's what he's going for right now. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4 across the field, it takes too long, and sometimes the protection is going down. Maybe that's what you're seeing. So if it is that, and I think it is that, what you're saying, that's improvement.
Christopher Columbus statues knocked down and all that.
So I just wanted to know, with all these injuries that we've had this past season, it's kind of completely out of everybody's control when someone gets injured. What is the mindset of this team? Like the next man up, I know it was big last year when we had a lot of people out. So what is that mindset? What is kind of like your game plan going into this against Florida, such a powerhouse both sides of the ball, one of the best rushing and the best defensive teams we face? So what is kind of your game plan going into that, considering all the injuries?
Well, our offensive line is probably the healthiest it's been. So that's good. Our running backs are healthy, so that's good. On the defensive line, we got Mason Smith, who we can move back to end if Ali Gay can't play. And then we got Glenn Logan coming in. So Glenn hasn't played, but he started a lot of games for us. So that's going to bolster our defensive line. That's a very good question that you have.
It's history.
It was the first time Ken Meyer was really kind of getting major snaps again. I guess just what did you notice him kind of opening some things up for that?
I thought he did a very good job of blocking at the point of attack. He did a tremendous job. He didn't give up any sacks. He had a good week of practice last week. Both him and Anthony Bradford are playing pretty good. So we're a little bit stronger left tackle than we've been at the beginning of the season.
I got two questions. One is just kind of general, you can educate me on it. Wheels and springs, are they taking longer to develop, and that's why they're not getting called? And secondly, I noticed Mason Smith, you really made it a point to coach Mason, coming off the field. Yeah. Obviously, you see a lot of potential there. Is that just you trying to tap into that?
Yeah, I think Mason's going to be an All-American. He's going to be a potential first-round draft choice. But, we had to move him back inside. And he was getting some different schemes that he hadn't played in a while. And, at defensive end, you're playing the tackle, you played the tight end. Now he's playing the guard and the tackle, and he's playing some combination blocks. And I can see some things that could help him out during the game. That's what I was helping him for.
You mentioned just not like Ken Meyer unties 30-yard run, like he was like pulling all the way across the formation. Is that some stuff that pulling linemen sort of to do stuff that y'all implemented recently?
Yeah, that's some of the stuff I talked about last week. We had some new plays. They're really not new plays. It's stuff that we haven't run, gap plays, the common schemes, the power schemes. the tackle pull scheme. I think that's going to help us. It creates different gaps for the defense, different gaps for them to fit, and we're going to continue to do that.
On the wheels and screens. Is that something that you see? Can you run it out of the offensive line?
Yes, we can, and we should do a better job. For some reason, we haven't had screens. Screens haven't worked very well since I've been here. And I'm a defensive line coach. I'm always preaching on the screen. So, yes, we need to continue to work on it.
Steve Bolton, WCCN. Now that we're kind of on the back half of the season, this is usually where we see some young players who normally don't get to see some playing time. Four-game rule certainly, a big part of that. Are there some guys on the horizon that are maybe showing you that are deserving of playing time here in the second half of the season?
Yeah, we're going to see that, Steve. Obviously, we have not saved anybody for a redshirt year. We haven't even talked about it. We got a lot of young guys playing on special teams right now. We told them that's the way to make your break. Get on special teams and do great, just like the great players before us, like Jamal Adams, Jarvis Landry, those guys were outstanding on special teams. So that's what we're using a lot of our true freshmen.
While you've been talking, there's been a report for the year. Are you not prepared to say that at this point? And also with Miles, when he does return, is it back to the same level of competition at quarterback that it was before the season, or Max has established himself? Back up.
Yeah, Keyshawn will be out for the year, unavailable for the year. That's correct. I don't know if Miles. I don't know if Miles is going to be back. I really don't know if we're going to get him back in the open date like we thought we would. I'm kind of unsure of that. So we have to play by ear as he gets better. But I don't think he's going to be back in the open date. That's my gut feeling.
Thank you.
We done? Go Tigers.
Okay, Dan Mullen. Let's go ahead and play Dan Mullen.
Hey, Robert Ward, let's me and you go, big boy. Let's go. You want to run here, run your fucking mouth? Let's see what you got. I got time. Come on down here. Let's go, Robert Ward. Let's go. Let's hear what you got to say. Come on, let's see what you got. Let's go. Because I can back my shit.
All right.
What you got, Robert Ward?
Obviously, big challenge going on the road. Tiger Stadium is always a tough place to play. They got a great crowd, talented football team across the board at every position. So, a big challenge for us this week. Injury-wise, we should get some guys back, which is a good thing. Probably the big ones, Kyer, Richard Garage.
Come on, Robert. We're waiting. I got a lot of shit to talk about.
You guys ask me, I'm probably missing. I don't meet with our trainer for another hour.
Typical. You're pissed off because you know I'm telling the truth. You probably freaking worship Donald Trump. You probably think Donald Trump's the smartest man alive.
Me? I'll be honest with you. We certainly paid our air conditioning bill. So if you see me like shake every once in a while, it's like, or my breath, it's a little chilly in here.
So Dan, David Turner had one of the funnier lines of the year.
You were infected while unvaccinated.
All-American
and suffered a
Nelson
stroke,
two things. Braille
brain hemorrhage,
and post-op.
memory, spell, and baseball. That's for inflammation of the brain and brain damage. You may never, ever return to it.
What I would like to do is,
And that's why
you know what you were looking for and what he's doing, you like, and what you'd like to see him improve.
Well, I think with a lot of things, I think the biggest improvement he's made is his comfort within his decision making on game day of distributing the ball. Of where he needs to get to, being comfortable in the pocket, making the reads, and the speed of which he makes the reads. I think it's a big result of that is his preparation. I think I've really seen him take his preparation to a different level from the beginning of the season within the game week. And I do this by saying you go through spring practice and you go through fall camp and you play against our defense. And you kind of see a lot of similar looks, and we're kind of installing and running the same stuff. and you get comfortable with things. Well, when you get into a game week, even there, then that's when all the variations come in. And so I think, all of a sudden early in the season, he thought I was comfortable. I'm ready to go play the game. And he maybe wasn't as comfortable within the variations that are going to affect the game of how our offense is going to play against this defense in the first week or two. And so I think he's really changed that approach, and you've seen that pay dividends on the field.
One criticism is he's kind of late on throws. Is that fair, or is that just the learning curve a guy's going to have?
Yeah, some he's early, some he's late. Some he's on time, but a lot of that's the processing, all the processing that goes into it. Of all the things that you're asked to do, I'm up there. Are we in the formation? Is everybody set? Where's the play clock? What's the protection? Is the protection checked? Do I have the protection handled? Who am I hot off of? Do I have to make a check? Is there a check involved in the play to alert somebody? Okay, what's the pre-snap coverage read? What's the post-snap coverage read? Okay, here's how they played it. This is where I'm reading the ball to. Now I got to get that's covered. I get to my second progression, get to my third progression, got to get the ball out. There's a lot that goes into it. And so, obviously the more you do it, the better you get at it, through the years.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Hey, how do you prepare for Death Valley after 8 false starts versus Kroger Field?
Yeah, same way. We just got to be mentally focused, and get in there. And it was a loud environment up there at Kentucky, and I always know Death Valley is going to be a loud place. Anytime you go there, it's a wild, crazy environment. So just similar way. We just got to be mentally focused on it.
Yeah, Dan, you're talking about all the stuff that Emory has to do, the processing speed, pre-coverage read, post-snap, all that. Are those the kind of things that when Anthony Richardson's in there in the fourth quarter, you're able to kind of evaluate and coach him off film?
Yeah, I think, and Anthony, in a very similar way, we're on him and his development, and you just see it. You see things change, from the one that going and getting comfortable, all through a training camp, then applying it to a specific game plan, and then the change of speed from practice to games that occurs. You see that with his growth and development. So, it was good. We went back and got him in. He got a couple series in the first half, got a couple series in the second half. So it's all stuff that he's going to continue to grow and build off of.
And then I guess where is his, comfort level with kind of learning those things versus maybe having a bigger workload?
Yeah, I think he's getting there. I think he's doing a good job developing, within his game and within what he does and what we ask him to do. And so it's a process. It's not a short-term process. You're talking about years and years and years and years. Tom Brady probably has it down pretty good now. Some of those guys, but you think that the number of reps you'd need and getting comfortable within doing all of that stuff. It's not like that's something. All of the stuff that goes into playing quarterback is not something that just is something that you just teach, in a day or two. It's something that takes a long time to learn.
Hey Dan, I'll ask one of the injured ones. Blake Davis, his status?
Yeah, he should be back this week. I haven't gotten the report yet, but he was on the report, expected to be back to practice this week.
Okay. And then LSU's quarterback, Max Johnson. Mm-hmm. What were kind of your impressions of him last year when he did well, and what have you seen on film from him as a player?
He's got a lot of gamemanship. In what he does, he'll stand in the pocket and deliver balls. I think he's an accurate passer. Has a strong arm, can make the throws all over the field. Has the size in the pocket to be able to stand in there and see over and make the throws. But to me, I think he also kind of has that moxie. He makes plays. He scrambles around. He extends plays. He kind of has a great feel for that stuff. You look at him and so, you're probably not saying, okay, wow, this guy's this scrambling, dynamic, running quarterback. Then you watch him move and not many people catch him. He's hard to get your hands on. So, I think it's his ability that he does a great job making plays within the system with what they do and his decision making and his accuracy throwing the ball. And then all of a sudden you think, oh, we got him, and he rises and runs around and makes a play. And that's some of the things that make him a really good player.
So you spoke last week about the game and the newspaper obviously about something from the agency for the whole first. Can you talk about, I know it was a hostile environment, but if any of that got implemented against Vanderbilt and what that conversation has been like?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more. The conversation applies more to this week being on the road again than at home. It's always a little different that way. So, but we've had a talk and we have a plan together.
Dan, two quick ones. First, I know you talked Saturday about Trent Whittemore kind of was just productive because of when he was rotated in, but when he does get in, he seems to have almost, I don't want to go too far, but almost that Kyle Pitts ability to body up a guy, especially in the end zone. What does he bring, and how can you sort of start to use him more and more, just especially in those short yardage situations?
Yeah, I think he has great hands, and he has good size and he has really good body control of how to use his body and catches the ball really well with his hands. So I think he's a bigger guy, over 6'2", to 6'3", with his arms, and he does have great ball skills of how he catches the ball with his hands. So his ability to kind of shield people off and catch the ball, extend the hands and catch it at a far point away from the body, is something that allows him, to use to his strengths. And I think he's a guy that understands his strengths, and he really is a smart football player that plays well to those.
And then the report yesterday that Elijah Blades was no longer with the team.
Yes.
I was just wondering if you could speak to when you found out about that, what went into it.
Yeah, we dismissed him from our program, and so he was dismissed from the program, so he's no longer part of the team.
So it was a team decision.
Yeah, I met with him and dismissed him from the program yesterday.
Congrats on the local
Thank you.
students who had. Yes.
Did you feel like you caught a break Mooney at LSU in terms of not having to sit around the hotel all day and get you guys out there right away in the morning?
Well, we got to wake up early. It's 11 actually, their time. So I don't know. As I love waking up and going to play, right? But we'll see. If you never know how that plays out. You got to wake up. You got to get up. I love waking up and going to play, getting the game, and getting home. And not have to sit at a hotel all day waiting to go play a game. So I guess if we win, and maybe we can say we caught a break. And if we didn't, then I wish we would have played later. So.
On this snap count, I get the reason to be a little coy here, but what are your options in terms of changing that up?
There's tons.
After possession, you do the quarterback leg raise, you do the guard looking back.
There's so many things you can do. I'm not going to get into what we're going to do, but we've been coaching a long time. I can go all the way back to 2005. They implemented different rules in the snap counts that we had that happened back if you remember back to, I want to say the 2005 season. I think it was maybe that or 2007, maybe it was. We did snap count things, and they changed the rule book because of it. So there's a lot of different variations we have.
Is it safe to say this count won't be there Saturday, or is that not?
No, that'll be there too. Well, I'm not going to get into what we're going to do specifically, but we discuss it. We'll have some things. There's a lot of there's tons of things you can do. We get under center, use a verbal count. I go back all the way. We played at BYU when I was at Utah. We played at Texas A&M on the road and BYU, and all we used was the quarterback's voice count. So. There's a lot of things you can do. Just whatever we got to do what works best for our guys and make sure all of them can function and be efficient.
You talked about intensity after the Vanderbilt game.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one time you really saw an intensity problem? And do you think other times the lack of intensity has maybe caused the play towards your opponent's competition?
No, I think a couple things. I think it stood out. It was very easily definable in the Vanderbilt game. Okay, so if you go take the first 2 offensive drives of the first half and the first 3 offensive drives of the second half, and you take the first 3 defensive drives of the first half, so the first 5 drives of the game total, 3 for them, 2 for us. Okay, then you go to the second half and you take the first 6 drives, 3 for them, 3 for us, and 3 for them. And go. I mean, I had it all written downstairs. I don't have it with me, but you guys just go look at the stats of those drives and the outcome of those drives. The outcome of those drives is 35-0, in probably just over a quarter of play. Okay. We talk about it now. I don't want to downplay. Obviously, Vanderbilt made some plays, did some different things, made some adjustments. They did things as well. But we need to play with the intensity and the efficiency that we played with at both of those periods for 4 quarters. Because go look at the first 5 drives of the game and then look at the next 5 drives of the game. And then go look at the first 6 drives of the second half and then the next 4 or like 6 drives of the second half. And you see these kind of explain to the team. Obviously in a game, the momentum, you're going to have some of these things right here, right? Where they're doing well, doing not as good, and it goes like that. We seemed, that was a time when we were this way. It was that. If you go look statistically at that part of it. So it's a great point for me to be able to make because there was such a drastic change at different aspects of the game to point out.
Like, how hard is it to find that identity to keep that same? Obviously you want to succeed and keep that intensity.
You like it at that level. That's probably unrealistic for that period of the game with young kids, and these guys are all still younger kids, and just for everybody. It's you're out there for 3.5 hours, of that. And I just getting on our guys of keeping that focus and that it's certainly not an attitude issue. It's not like, hey, like we really care now and then we really don't care now. It is the intensity that you need to follow to be successful, and that's hard to maintain for 3.5 hours. And how are we going to continue to improve it to play at a higher level and consistently play at that point on every snap of the game?
Thank you, Tori. Hey, Coach, how do you find an Australian punter?
They have a great kicking academy in Australia that they have, and they kind of recruit guys there. And kind of call down there. They send up all the film, and you evaluate the guys. And I didn't actually go to Australia. I had it set on a recruiting trip to try to go, and it didn't work out for me to make it there. So we watched all the film, and we ended up with Jeremy Crawshaw.
You blow the whole recruiting budget if you went to Australia.
I'll tell you what, though, it is because it's a tricky little deal to get there. Like when you leave, when you get back, because of how much long it takes to go, like the time frame of it. I think when we did draw it out. We were looking at it. I would have been on a plane for 48 hours and on the ground for 6. So.
And then off of your travels, Brenton Thompson talked about injuries. You said that he almost didn't go last week.
Yeah, he was. He was good. He was banged up during the week. I thought, I was concerned about him being able to play as the week went on, and he did a good job at the back end of the week. Played the first half of the game, and I thought did a great job. And we came out in the second half, said we're going to try not to play you in the second half, and I think the fact that we were able to kind of score points quick, we didn't play him in the second half, so he should be fine. He should be good to go.
Can I follow up on the punter?
Yeah.
Have you done that before? Have you hit that academy, or is this something new?
No, that was our first one.
What made you decide to go? Obviously these guys have been phenomenal all around the country. What made you? Is that what you decided?
Hey, I'm watching these guys, and there's great punters, and they're like, hey, they go to this academy, they go to this, this kicking school there. Let's call down there, and and go. Let's evaluate and find the guys, and he was a great fit for us personality wise too.
What are the challenges of getting somebody half a road away?
you don't get to, you're not getting to see them live and in person. You're recruiting them off of tape, and you're trying to how is the tape going at the right speed? How high was it kicked? What's the hang time? What's the distance? Is there anything I'm not like the tape's hiding? Talent-wise, Jeremy and his family came out here for the official visits. You got to spend time with them, but he was already committed to us pretty much when he did that. Is he going to be able to fit in? The NCAA requirements and student visa deals. He can't even get an Outback Steakhouse name, image, and likeness deal because he's on a student visa, unfortunately. So there's all kinds of challenges that go in.
Did you see his 40 time on tape, or was that a surprise?
Oh, no. I mean, we actually practice that stuff before we're doing a game. So I've seen him run. I mean, I see him in the offseason do off-season training conditioning. So I know he's a phenomenal athlete. I know that. I didn't know that when we recruited him as much, but, once he's been here for a while, so I know his athleticism.
He will go to Australia for you to recruit punters, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll move. Edgar?
Good golf courses, you missed out.
Oh. I would have had to stay on the ground 12 hours then to get around it.
You remember Darren Bennett? The San Diego punter, he was the first one.
Really?
Yeah, back in the 90s. Anyway, I thought maybe you knew him. He was a 300 goal scorer in the league you used to love, but no one understands how to play. But exactly. I sent a YouTube to that. Mark never seen it before. So Dan, couple LSU ones real quick, please. So this has been like a one possession game, 6 out of 7. And the one that won was that great game in 19 there. And then you were involved in some epics in 07. I mean, the jump pass thing. I know you like switching it up. But how good is this rivalry?
I think it's when you look at it, obviously, I think it's a great rivalry. And, things that go into it. One, we play every year. Two, it's two great programs that, have won, as you go back to all those dates, we've each won 2 national championships in that time frame, if I'm right on that. And you look at all the games coming right down to the wire, and not all of them, but a lot of them coming right down to the wire and being these tough battles. I think that's what makes it a great rivalry game. It makes it must-see TV, to go watch great players, great teams, and that are championship level teams that go in and play a game that comes right down to the wire. It makes it a great rivalry.
Do you think that Ed O or Coach O is a classic kind of what have you done for me lately scenario? Because he's taken a ton of heat. That's the coaching profession, but in his case,
well, yeah, it's a weekly deal as coaches right now, right? I think we get to learn that. I know I've known Ed for a long time. I like Ed. I think a great coach. Obviously, won a national championship just a couple years ago there, and he hadn't forgotten how to coach in that time frame. So I think, I just think in today's world with coaching, a lot of times, it's a week to week that your rating as a coach is week to week. If not play by play on Saturdays, and then and then after Saturday it's week by week, and that's not him. That's all of us. You know what I mean? You go to anybody in the SEC, and they'll tell you it's pretty much right. You're either really smart or really dumb, and there's nowhere in between, and it's a week to week deal.
Play by play. That was funny. Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
We'll close with Thomas Balkin. Yeah, I wanted to go back to Jeremy Crawshaw for a second. Did he get stuck in the U.S. or in Australia at one point due to COVID international travel things?
There was.
Okay. Once again, Dan Mullen talking about Florida's preparation against the LSU Tigers this coming Saturday morning. So let's go ahead and break down some film from Florida and Vanderbilt. We'll do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and break this film down for you.
2nd and 10, 33.
Okay, let's go ahead and break this down. You'll see it on the screen. Once again, this is on 2nd and 10. Florida on offense. Let's see what they do. So what they do is the quarterback is looking for a wide receiver. So it looks like everybody is covered on these plays. So what he does, he goes deep and he hits his receiver right there. So he hits so he found his receiver. And that's number 14. That's one of their wide receivers for the Florida Gators. He made a great catch. So that's the reason why the LSU defense has got to slow those guys down, because if he throws a deep ball downfield, then all bets are off when it comes down to it. So let's
Vanderbilt sideline at the 35-yard line as the Gators pick up 32 yards on the pass complete.
So that was a 32-yard pass play. So you can't allow 32-yard pass plays to occur when it comes down to it. Now the next play we'll go over.
2nd and 10.
Okay, this is on 2nd and 10 once again. He's once again wide receivers to 3 wide receivers to your left and then 1 to your right. And then we'll see what happens on this play.
Yard line, the snap to Jones.
So they'll hand the ball off. Number 6 is one of their running backs. So he's going to be let's see what happens.
Off the right up the middle of the field.
So he's a bit shifty. So that's one thing you have to do is tackle him big time. You have to tackle him, make those plays when it comes down to it. Because if you don't make those plays, he will run and he will get yards from those plays.
Squirting through an opening, up to the outside to the 20, into the 15, into the 10, into the 5, down toward the pylon, and he's ruled just out of the knee. He got it in, he got it in. Oh my, what a run, an electrifying right run from 35 yards out. Oh my.
That was right. So like I said, if you you got to contain him in the backfield. Because you can make those plays. That was the perfect example right there on the touchdown run.
Great run.
After further review, the ball carrier went out of bounds at the half-yard line. First down, Florida.
The snap to Jones.
So they'll run the ball. See what they're doing. They're in the goal line package.
Handing it off to Pierce.
And they'll run it up the right side.
Left side. He's in for the touchdown. Damian Pierce.
So Damian Pierce is another guy that you're going to have to be aware of when you're playing them. They will run him as well.
Scores the touchdown, and now the Gators have the 6-0 lead.
Okay, shotgun formation. One back in the backfield. Let's see what he does. Either run or pass.
Jones, and Jones takes
so Jones looks like
to run the ball, trying to get to the outside.
So Jones will run the ball. See, this is on 4th and 1 right here. So he takes the snap and he keeps the football and he gets some yards. He gets some yards off of that.
Got a first down to the 20-yard line to the 15 and diving straight ahead, getting down to the 10-yard line. 2nd and goal, 5.
So this is Jones right here. Emory Jones. Shotgun formation.
Line from the right hash. The snap to Jones, and Jones throws the pass into the end zone.
Nice little pass play right there. So that was an excellent, perfect pass for a touchdown.
Wide open receiver, Jaquavian Frazier's.
Jaquavian Frazier's on that catch.
Frazier's scoring a 2nd touchdown in as many weeks. And it's on 40.
Okay, this is Florida's defense. They rush him 4. Let's see what happens on this.
The snap to Ken Seals. Seals drops back. Now rolls off the left.
See, they're coming. See, number 9 comes off the edge right there, so he's coming for the quarterback. So
under pressure and has to get rid of it.
So that was a good. That's a good pass disruption right there.
Throws it off the field to avoid the sack as he was pressured again by Javon Dexter. Vandy on the.
Okay, once again, they're running.
The snap now to Seals. Steele stepping.
So that once again, they got pressure on the quarterback. So they then right there, they get an interception. So they get an interception right there. So like I said, Max Johnson's got to be aware when he's throwing that football because they can tip that ball and easily get an interception.
Beautifully picked off by the Gators, Daquan Newkirk. Oh my! Newkirk, an offensive tackle, got his hands on the ball and hung on, and the Gators get a takeaway.
That puts a smile on my face. The big guy, he tipped it and found the ball and caught it.
The snap to Emory Jones, and Jones takes a rocker step and now drops back to throw the ball down the field.
So he like I said, see Emory Jones hits his man in the middle. So that's what he does, throws the passes in the middle. So it's a middle pass going for a big game right there.
Nick one right for the catch at the 35-yard line, buried to their side of the 30, the 25, the 20, Nick one right to 15, and down to the 10-yard line, and finally pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line on a beautiful catch and run. Gators have first and goal to go. Empty set for Jones.
So it's an empty set with they ran. It's an empty set.
The snap to Jones. He rolls off to his left, looking, backpedaling, throwing the ball to the.
So they throw a nice little pass right here for the score. So that's 14 getting the reception right there. So that's one of the players that you got to be. Also, another player you got to be totally aware of as an LSU defense.
The corner of the end zone. Here's Trent Whittemore. He's got it. Oh my! What a great catch in the corner by Trent Whittemore. It's 20-0.
What a great catch.
Opening series of the second half. Cam Johnson return. It's going to be a fake.
So look, this is something you got to watch out for. It's those fake punts because if they get a 3 and out, that's what they'll try to attempt. It's a fake punt.
To the 30, 35, cross shot 40. The Australian across the 45 and across midfield to the 50. And a beautiful fake punt deep in their own territory. That just might be what the Gators need to excite this ball club.
And Crenshaw can run a little bit. That was great.
Second and 26. Here's Jones. Rocker step throwing over the middle of the field. He's got the receiver. It's the running.
So he goes in a rocker set formation. That's what he does. He drops back. He's like rocker set, and he throws it deep. So that's not a deep ball right there. You have to be totally aware of when it comes down to it. Because LSU's defense, against Kentucky, they gave up some plays.
Damian Pierce at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, at the 5, and there he goes! He's gone! Oh my!
If only I would have known that play. Pierce coming out of the backfield.
Two receivers right.
Okay, Vanderbilt back in offense. The Gators are running a four down sets.
And also twins left. The snap to Seals. Seals looking to zing that ball out.
So that was a good pass defense right there. So they'll break up some balls if they have to, just to get off the field. That's on 3rd and 11.
And it's going to be broken up beautifully, batted away by Trey Dean. The ball going out to the boundary for Chris Pierce. The snap to Jones.
Okay, Jones looks like he's got everybody. Everybody's covering him right here. Everybody, the lines are blocking. So Jones goes deep. So he hits his man. That's a pretty good deep ball right there. That's a good deep ball right there. So he'll throw those deep balls if he has to, or he has to run.
Yard line, pounding his way inside to the 25-yard line. That's a 46 27-yarder to Copeland. Here's first down. The snap now to Jones. Jones looks to throw the pass to your right side.
So it throws a nice little dump off to number 1, so he gets the breaks goes around him, and then they score.
Touchdown. Oh, my. What a beautiful touchdown play. Back-to-back catches for Copeland.
I can tell you who's on fire in the second half, and that's Copeland. That was all effort by him. He caught a quick hitch.
Will snap the Seals. Seals looking, makes a quick throw.
And it's an interception. So interception by the Florida defense on 3rd and 9.
Picked off by the safety, Trey Dean. And Dean takes the ball to the sideline, running it out of bounds at the 30-yard line as he picked him off. The Gators' second takeaway today. There's the snap to Jones. Jones looking.
So Jones throws another middle pass up to his wide receiver, 12. The Wells is another wide receiver that could be a dangerous threat to the LSU defense.
Makes the grab for a first down to the 11-yard line. Wells and Frazier to the left, and now Wells comes in motion near side. Jones.
Jones goes nice little pitch out right there, and that gets him a touchdown. So it's a nice little excellent pitch out.
Wells turning the corner, getting down to the pylon, and he's going to be in for the touchdown.
Oh, come on.
Oh, wait a minute.
My goodness. Beautifully executed.
I guess they called him short. The snap to Jones.
So it's a handoff to the middle.
Pierce. And Pierce running inside. Touchdown. On a 1-yard run. Damian Pierce to pay dirt. And the Gators have their third touchdown of the third quarter and now open up a 41-0 lead.
Now we're having fun.
Yard line from the left hash. The snap to Seals. Seals looking left, now looking right. It's some pressure.
So that was a good defensive play by Florida to get them on 3rd and 6. So like I said, they can make some significant plays when it comes down to it. So I tell you what, this is a good Florida team. This is a definitely good Florida team. I mean, sure, it might have had some setbacks and stuff like that, but this is a very good Florida team. Looking at that film. So let's go ahead and give you a stat breakdown of this game of Florida and LSU. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a stat breakdown. So I'm going to go over to the stats. Put those up on my screen. Okay, let's begin breaking down the scoring. Okay, scoring the game. Florida scores 33 points. They only give up 16 points a game. They also have 142 first downs. That's 69 on runs, 64 on passes, and 9 on penalties. That's what they get on those first downs. So they give up 113 on defense. Now, the run game, they average 6.7 yards a game. So they have 15 touchdowns running the football in the game. So they run on 246 carries in games like that. So I tell you what, this is a very good running team as well. Now, they'll pass the ball. Let's see. 176 times out of 119 completions. Their quarterback rating is 146.8, so they got a very good quarterback rating. Now, the total yards of offense, they average 7 yards a game, but giving up 4 yards a game on defense. So they only give up 4 yards a game on defense. Now, let's go over to the third down conversion. Third down conversions, Florida is 33 of 76. That's 43%. And they only give up 36% on defense. Now, the fourth down conversions, Florida is at 53%. So they will convert on fourth down. They only give up 27%. Now, the red zone success is 20 of 24. They have 83% in the red zone, so they're good in the red zone. Also, the red zone defense, they only give up 11 scores out of 15 attempts. Now, that's what we are looking at right there. So we're going to go ahead and give you game by game. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a game by game number. Give you let's give you the passing. Okay, the passing numbers for Florida, Emory Jones averaging 190 yards a game on 107 completions. His completion percentage is at 68%. He has 9 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So they have a freshman as well, but they use them not often. But they'll have Emory Jones the junior quarterback. So his numbers is pretty consistent when it comes down to it. Now, the running game. Let's go to the running game. Emory Jones is their main back, 75 carries, 478, average of 6 yards a game. Anthony Robinson, he has 311 yards. He's averaging 14 yards a pop. That's 2 touchdowns a game. Also, Malik Davis is another running back. He's a senior. He's averaging 5 yards a game. He has 3 touchdowns. And Damon Pierce is a senior running back. He's averaging 5.8 yards a game. He has 7 touchdowns. And also Naquan Wright. Naquan Wright, he's averaging 5 a game. Now, DeMarcus Bowman, that's another guy. It's a freshman. He's averaging 6 a game. So their running backs are very stable when it comes down to it. So that's their running game. Now the receiver. Excuse me. Okay, now the receivers. Copeland has 21 catches for 370. He has 3 scores. He's averaging 17 a game. Also, Xavier Henderson. Xavier Henderson's averaging 14 yards a game. Then you got Wells averaging 2 touchdowns and 11.4 yards a pop. And also Trent Whitemore. It's another guy. He's another wide receiver, averaging 10 a game. And then Wright averaging 13. And then you got Shorty that's averaging 8 a game. So you got a very good wide receiver core when it comes down to it for the Florida Gators. So this is not a little team that could be that has players that has stats that go down to the downhill. But these players, they are definitely can make some plays for the Gators. Now let's go over to the defense. Let's go. Okay, the defense, Florida defense, they have 20 sacks a game. Their big sack leader is Carter and Newkirk. And then you got Dexter. So you got some players that can make some that can bring the rush when it comes down to it for the Florida Gators. So that's something right there that the Tigers are going to have to be aware of on the offensive side of the football. Is because these guys, they're going to come in a blitz or come in a disguised play. They might run a 4-down set, or they might run a 3-down set, or they might run a man-to-man. So they might run man-to-man, or in the line they might run a cover 1, cover 2, cover 3 when it comes down to it. Now, interceptions. Okay, we'll look at them. Florida only has 4. Their main guy is so it's Elm, Johnson, Dean, and then Newkirk is one of their guys that picked the ball off, but they didn't get a touchdown out of it. So that's the in interceptions. Okay, fumble recoveries. Let's see. We don't have any fumble recoveries. So let's see. We looks like we don't have any. So at least we got. So like I said, Florida right now, Florida's got a like I said that their last. Let's give you their last couple of games. I'm gonna go over them with you. I'll give you the last couple of games. Okay, the last couple of games they played. Vanderbilt, they won 42-0. They also beat Kentucky, lose to Kentucky, 20-13, and then they beat Tennessee, and then they lost to Alabama. So their record right now is 4-2, and this might not be your daddy's 4-2, but it is they are 4-2. Look, they're coming into Tiger Stadium. And it's going to be a raucous crowd this Saturday night when it comes Saturday morning, when it comes down to when the game starts. I mean, Florida, like I said, look, sure, they might have their problems and stuff like that, but I'm going to tell you, this is not a team you should sweep to the side. So I look at it this way. It's just, like I said, it's the academia of those teams. Now, like I said, LSU, let's go break down LSU, and we'll give you LSU's numbers. Okay, LSU's numbers in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to go over those numbers with you. Okay, let me put those scoring points. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Okay, the last couple of games, LSU scored 29 points. They're averaging 34 points at home. In a loss, they're averaging 22 points a game. So that's in the last couple of weeks. Now, that's in scoring offense. Now let's go to the total offense. We'll go to the last couple of games. Okay, I'll break it down for you. Okay, the last couple of games. No. Okay, LSU at home putting up 382 yards a game. That's at home. In a loss, they're at 381. But they're a total of 379 in games. Now, let's go over to the passing game. Let's go over to the passing game. The last couple of games, I'll give you a breakdown on that. Okay, the last couple of games, LSU at home's put up 301 yards passing, and also in a loss, they put up 305.3 yards passing in games. So that was in the games the last couple of weeks. Now, we'll go over to the running game. I'll put that up on the screen. Okay, the running game, LSU averaging 83 yards a game. They also, in their last loss, they put up 76 yards total, but they had 86 yards in the 80 yards in the home game. So 80 yards in the home game, 76 in the losses for the LSU Tigers. Now, I'm going to go passing game, so we'll switch it back over. We did pass a game already. Let's see. No, we did. Okay, passing game, running game. Okay, let's go to the receiving game. Let's give you the receiving numbers. Pull this up. pull us up the receiving numbers. Okay, the receiving numbers, LSU at home has 301. They also put up 305 on the wide receiver side. So the wide receiver side puts up 305. So that's in receiving. Now we'll go over to downs and distance. I'm going to break those down for you. The last couple of games at downs and distance. That's the Gators. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Okay, LSU's last couple of games, LSU puts up 120 in all games, but their home games are at 59 on first downs, but in losses they're at 65 first downs and losses. Now let's go over to the third down conversions. Let's go over to the third down conversions. I'll give you those third down conversions. Okay, third down conversions, LSU is at 39%. That's 34 of 87. LSU on in losses put up 40%, and also at home they put up 36% on third down conversions. Now on fourth down conversions, we'll go over to the fourth down conversions. LSU puts up 58%. That's in conversions. Also at home, 60%, but on the road, they're at 50%. They're 4 of 8 on the road when it comes down to it. So that is your breakdown right there. Now, we'll break down the red zones. Let's go red zone efficiency. Okay, red zones, LSU at home is at 100%. In the red zone, also at home, they're 100%, but on the road, they're also 100%. That is home, loss, and games. That's in the red zone efficiencies. So that's how we manage. We show them. It's about. So I kind of look at it this way. Look, if LSU can get in the red zone and stretch that defense out, I think they'll be successful. But if they don't, then all bets are off. So I say this. LSU, look, if LSU could win this game, this could be a bounce back win for them going into the next week and then the next week. So that's my opinion on it. Okay, once again, this concludes the LSU preview show. We broke down LSU in Florida. Also, Monday Night Coaches Show here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We'll be back tomorrow with Sports Talk. We'll have Tulane preview. Tulane's not playing this week, so there's no games for Tulane. So we will have regular sports news here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So once again, everybody, have a good rest of your Monday night, and we'll return tomorrow.